Superhero Stuff You Should Know is part of the Greenlit Podcast Network.
Hey, this is Ben from Superhero Stuff You Should Know, and I have an important announcement for you guys. At the end of every single episode of Superhero Stuff You Should Know, you might hear us shout out to our fans, one of whom is Matt Herring, who was one of the original SuperHouse fans. He's always given us his support, and now it's time that we support him. We've just recently found out that Matt has been diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And as a cancer survivor myself, I know personally that there's a lot of emotional and financial strain that comes into that. His wife, Kelly, has set up a GoFundMe account at gofundme.com/f/Matthew-Kicks-Cancer039s-butt. And hopefully you can help reduce the financial strain to that, as well as some of the emotional strain that comes with that. Again, that's gofundme.com/f/Matthew-Kicks-Cancer039s-butt.
Matt Herring was the first, I guess you could say, true SuperHouse fan. We were SuperHouse at that time. The first fan of this podcast and what we do here. And has always supported us, talked about us, and he's from a town close to where I'm from, and so we share that as well, and just a huge superhero fan, and nerd like the rest of us, and now he's going through that, and if you could donate just at least any amount of money to that link that Ben just said, that would be truly appreciated. Just hang in there, Matt. You'll beat this thing soon.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice, Batman and Aquaman are interviewing applicants for the Justice League.
My man, so we seem to be interviewing some applicants. What is your name?
It is I, Comrade Carl.
It appears that you're from Russia.
So, my man, are you like some sort of a communist or something like that?
Comrade, the appearances can be deceiving. Sometimes it's Russian and sometimes slightly Dracula.
That's good. I'm a fan of Dracula.
Oh, with the biting and the sucking, you guys have a similar wardrobe, so,
What is your experience with heroics?
Before we move on from what is happening with you and Dracula, we all know the costuming is mostly fetish. It's to each his own, Batman.
My personal preferences are not interviewed right now.
I'll save my questions for the end.
I want to know about the heroics.
My heroics. Well, a small town guy, just small town boy living in a lonely world. I took the midnight train straight to Albany.
Hey!
And,
that sounds sort of familiar.
Those are the lyrics that Don't Stop Believing by Journey. Give us your real backstory.
Wait, let's put a pin in that real quick. Batman, you listen to Journey?
I need to know all pop culture in case the Riddler uses it for his riddles.
My man, I absolutely love their Essentials set. I listen to them all the time on the Apple Essentials list.
So does Nightwing.
Look at us. We're just riffing. It's like I'm in Justice League already. Look at it.
Maybe you'll be part of the Injustice League.
Oh, now you're kind of talking my language, because I'm not going to lie. You asking me about heroics, and I find that to be a little, wimpy, bitchy, kind of stuff. I like sort of to mix it up. I like to have a good time, rig elections or not rig elections, but sort of get in there and mix up the whole vibe.
Sounds like you're a better fit for the Legion of Doom.
Have you ever saved a squid?
I do like to eat the fried version of that. I don't like the ones that look like they're still in the ocean, the ones that actually, but the ones that look like rings, I put one on each finger. I say, ha, ha, ha. Now I have all the power. I snap my fingers and then I eat them. It's like a little dinner joke. People really like that.
To be fair, Arthur, fried calamari is really good. I'll give you Alfred's recipe.
I'm so way in Justice League, I'm already finding out Batman's accomplices.
Why'd you get into this business anyway? Did your parents die? Did you fall into a whale?
Oh,
What manner of origin story do you have?
it's very good story. It's very good. Normal guy, minding own business. No accent yet back then those days, hard as that might be to believe. Wandering in woods, I find a magic gem.
Woods!
You guys have been there. Yeah, a gem in the woods. It's sort of like seaweed, but drier.
Okay.
Yeah, above water vegetation. I find this little gem. I don't really know, where it comes from, but very quickly I realize I can use it to vaporize things, as long as I put it in some form of hat. So at first, I just have baseball cap. Later on, I make a better looking helmet. It does give me a massive amount of radiation, but comes with the territory, I like to say. Yeah.
Sounds worth it to me. What do you think, Bats?
Again, I think he's a better fit for the Legion of Doom. They're 5 blocks away, by the way, if you want to look at a swamp that looks like Darth Vader's head.
Honestly, I didn't want to bring it up, but I was trying to just come in and ask you guys for directions for how to get there, because I knew I was in the neighborhood wandering around. Where is Doom? 5 blocks is close, but but you guys seem so good.
The zoning is much better in Atlantis than it is here. I just gotta tell you, I had noticed that as well earlier. The fact that they're 5 blocks away, a little weird.
It's not my city. I won't claim responsibility for it.
Should we print out new MapQuest directions on paper for him to follow around the corner, or what?
You're still using MapQuest? Arthur, I have to update you with Wayne Maps.
Yes, I'm using MapQuest because Atlantean technology is among the highest in the world.
I'm glad we're finally talking politics, which is the best way into any conversation. I mean, it's so funny to me you don't like Legion of Doom. They just want the world to run like Atlantis. You're the king of Atlantis, and you get the,
They want nothing like Atlantis. They want Doom and legions of it.
Yeah, well, that's true. They also are fans still of Air. That you would think not, but they are mostly all pro Air. So that's true, I guess.
Believe it or not, I also breathe oxygen.
Yeah, how do you pull that off, man?
It's sort of like a Kevin Costner kind of thing, but without the gills. It's weird.
I think you're a better fit for the Legion of Doom, and this interview is over.
I have the MapQuest directions printed out right here.
Thank you. That's amazing. Still print things out in Atlantis.
It's waterproof paper. Amazing, right?
Thing of beauty. Wow. You got a lamination machine down there. Holy crap.
Hey, this guy's pretty cool.
Welcome once again to Superhero Stuff You Should Know, a Superhouse podcast, and you can see us in the Batcave, at least Andrew and me, right now. But welcome. This is Ben, the man who knows just too much about Batman. it's insane.
Just too much.
My head
this is
will
what you're
explode
adding.
at some point. Yes.
I want to say this is Andrew, by the way, but we have the rest of Superhouse pretty much has a full spectrum nerdery, but Ben has put that to a laser focus into one particular subject. I don't know, it's interesting. You focus it all on this one thing, and that's become the podcast, which is great.
We're joined by, if for you guys out there who are superhero fans, you guys should check out this mockumentary on YouTube called Zero Issue. And we have a couple of people from behind the scenes and in front of the camera of Zero Issue. I'll let them introduce themselves, starting with Allie.
Hi, I'm Allie Keller. I was a producer on Zero Issue.
Awesome. And we're also joined by...
Hey, I'm Jim Fagan, and I was the director and producer of Zero Issue, and I played Comrade Carl in the movie as well.
Who you guys might have heard in our sketch earlier of Comrade Carl trying to interview and apply for the Justice League, only to find out that he was
Boris and Natasha
trying to find directions for the Legion of Doom. So anyway,
yeah, I think we wrapped that character wrapped 2 years ago, and that was the most recent time I'd taken that accent out again.
Oh
really?
yeah, nice.
That was great. Very fun.
Surprise reprisal there, but
Yeah.
awesome. So this has been a special treat for us because a lot of times we reach out to our guests, but this is one of the times where you guys reached out to us, and so we had to first ask, try to not to be too self-indulgent, but like what led you guys to discover superhero stuff you should know.
I have been listening to a ton of superhero podcasts. After this movie got made, I sort of came into the project as a superhero novice on many, many fronts, and then stayed that way through the process to make sure jokes would still land with audience members like me who didn't have any of the background Easter egg info.
Yeah.
But spending the entire process feeling incredibly out of the loop was very frustrating. So as soon as we picture locked, so had sort of a deep dive on superhero podcasts, superhero movies, anything I could kind of get my hands on, so I could finally get all of the jokes from the production meetings over the last year and a half. So you guys were one of the first ones I had found that popped up in my literal Googling of like superhero podcasts, things to check out about superheroes.
Amazing. Okay.
So I've been listening to not all of them because that is a lot of catch up, but I have been listening to a lot of episodes here and there, and I thought you guys were really fun, so I was pumped to finally be in the stage where we could reach out to people.
Were we Superhouse at the time, or were we superhero stuff you should know?
Superhero stuff you should know.
Okay,
but
cool.
I was seeing Superhouse in the Googling, so it took me a minute to put.
We changed the name because we kind of felt that no one knew what a Superhouse was, so we made it super easy. Superhero stuff you should know podcast. We wanted to be found, and it worked.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, as soon as Allie found you guys, she was like, "You have to start listening." And I have been jumping around in your past catalog, but one of the first ones I grabbed was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 recap that you guys did a couple
I
weeks
wish
ago.
Wolfie was here. Yeah.
That was a fun one. And then I love Batman, but I feel like I can feel it in this movie too. Haven't indulged in Batman as much as I would like to over the past few years because of how dominant Marvel movies have been in my sort of superhero movie diet since the Dark Knight series, and I've certainly seen Batman vs Superman and stuff, but not with as much, I think, return viewing. So I've been like, oh yeah, Batman was like my favorite comic book. It's been like nice listening to you guys talk about it and be like, oh yeah, it's not all Joker movies over and over, which are good, but it's nice to be like, oh yeah, I love this comic. So that's been fun for me.
Oh yeah, it was.
I don't mind
it
taking over. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
The other question I guess we had was like, do you have any favorite episodes off the top of your head? I know Jim just mentioned the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 2 one, but are there any others?
I think my favorite one might be the most recent Batman one that you guys have just posted. Yeah, Bat Life.
Yes.
Nice.
Where you went through the exercise regimen? Is that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was great. Yeah.
I gotta.
The deep dive is so good.
Yeah, I gotta say what happened there, and I confessed it on social media, so this is not that big of a secret anymore. But we were originally going to do another storyline, and I was just busy that week, and the weekend came around. We were about to record, and I was like, I'm going to have to read 300 pages between now and Sunday. That's not going to happen because I got all this other stuff going on. So let me just throw together some stuff that I like kind of already know, and hopefully it'll fill out like 45 minutes. And then it turned into a 2-hour episode. So.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't see how you'd be able to do it in less than 2 hours when you just need to go through all of his reps like that he has to do like on his off day where he had to run like
20 miles.
Yeah.
I love how Wolfie also, I'm talking behind his back a little bit, but he didn't even know what a rep was. Wolfie's never worked out a day in his life.
Right.
He's blessed with, he's the perfect metabolism. Like he's pretty skinny. Mm-hmm. And
right. Who was it who was like, are you seriously asking me that right now?
Yeah, probably me.
Yeah, it was Andrew.
Yeah, because I was wondering, because like the routine, there's so much to list out. And I'm just gonna go through this really quickly because I don't know how interesting this part is compared to everything else. But it's cool to know that hit. So that's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for having us on, guys. We're psyched to talk to you.
Yeah. So, what led to the idea behind Zero Issue?
I think we were a production collective. We were making a lot of online sketch. We were doing some branded commercial stuff, and we were like, well, we really want to make like a deep dive movie. We want to do something ourselves, and we went over 20, 30 ideas. We just kept like spitting things around, but eventually we were like, we just kind of want to make the kind of movie that we want to go see. And we love mockumentaries, and we love superhero movies. So we went to there was this like exhibit in New York City at the time about the history of comics and shit like that. I forget. It was at like the Transit Museum. It was like somewhere fucking random. But we went and just like reminded ourselves all the shit we liked about it as kids. Matt, Zach, and I had backgrounds. I had read a bunch of Spider-Man comics. I was, geeking out over the cartoons a lot as a kid. Zach was a big comic book reader, and Matt was like a big video game player. So we sort of like talked about it, filled it all in, and we were like, okay, that was like step one. And then step two was just looking at our world of like filmmaking, independent filmmaking and independent film festivals, and how like anxiety producing and sometimes hilariously pathetic they can be when you're like running around in them and going crazy, trying to like define your life by them. So it all sort of kind of started coming together, and that kind of took us forever, and then it happened very fast, the idea. We sort of like group thought it up, and then Matt went off and wrote the script. It's pretty cool.
I've never seen that combination. Like, you might be the first to do a superhero mockumentary. Have there been any others?
I mean, I think that there's a couple of like high concept TV shows that have like dipped their toe into it and then like immediately gotten canceled. And not even like pure superhero stuff. Like, I think there was one that was a mockumentary about like normal people in a superhero world.
Oh,
that
and
was
the destruction? Like, they had to deal with the destruction or something?
Yeah, something like that. And that didn't last long. So, but I mean, when we thought the idea up, it was honestly like 4 years ago now that we first started thinking of this idea. And we were like, this has to have been made. And then for the past 4 years, as we were, finishing the movie, I just kept expecting a major film that does exactly this to drop immediately. I think we did become first to market kind of with it, which is cool. And it's kind of a weird combo, but I feel like it works for the kind of story we're trying to tell.
So you said you were fans of mockumentaries. Do you have like a top list? Like, is Spinal Tap your favorite, best in show, something like that, or?
Yeah, Christopher Guest is like the starting point for us, I think.
Right.
Allie, what about you? Because you've heard when you came on, we like rattled all this off to you, and what did you end up actually like consuming and liking?
I had seen Best in Show. That's definitely one of my favorites. And obviously I was familiar with like Parks and Rec and The Office and that kind of stuff that got very big. What I didn't know before and what I watched and what I loved was What We Do in the Shadows.
That was a big one.
It was new to me, and I immediately fell in love with it. And now I love the TV show that has happened since then, which is great.
Yeah, I think at the moment we were writing it, we had just seen What We Do in the Shadows, which also was like a short film years ago that they were like not super happy with, and they were always waiting for their chance to do it the way they wanted to, which is kind of inspiring for us. And that and the show Documentary Now, which is the Fred Armisen show, which is like a very funny mockumentary show on IFC. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, but
I've seen the preview for that. I have an idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, there's one episode called a man, a myth, a gangster, something. Oh no, a man, a gangster festival. It's an Al Capone episode. It's about an Al Capone festival in Reykjavik, Iceland, and they pack this full world of this festival into about 30 minutes, and it became a major influence for us. We were just like amazed at how many characters and how many funny real life kind of feeling jokes were sort of slid in effortlessly, and how seriously they treated the the concept, like, and then how they use locals to fill out the whole world, which we did the same exact thing for our movie, and so
Right,
it was
yeah.
a big influence on us. Yeah, for sure.
So it best in show's the one where they say, "What happened?" Right?
Yes.
I say that all the time, and people hardly ever get it. They
Oh,
never get what I'm quoting.
it's a beautiful reference. The
What happened?
great late Fred Willard,
Yeah.
who he's such a funny dude, and oh my God, and the other one he does in that is "I don't think so." It's like his terrible catchphrase. It's so good.
I forgot about that one. The thing
Yeah.
that stuck with me the most was, "What happened?"
Hey, what happened? It's like him reliving his glory days as like a child actor, but now he's just like a manager for dogs or something like that, right?
Right.
I think one of the things I love was just seeing. I can tell just how much fun it must have been to create this, just in terms of the different characters to do. So we were curious, out of the characters who show up in the Zero Issue cast, which one is your guys' favorite?
Ooh, Allie, are you ready? I want to hear yours before I throw mine out, but
You haven't been asked this before?
no, we haven't.
Wow.
I'm
Okay.
psyched by it.
Never.
Wow. Okay. Good job, Ben.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm gonna.
I feel like I have so many favorite moments, but to pick a character is so hard.
I'm gonna toss
What?
out 3 for very personal reasons, which is, oh my God, I'm so close to I mean, my wife's in this movie, my father's in this movie, my best friends, all these people, but there are 3 characters that were created by Matt and the actor. Matt's the writer who also plays Dale Dinkle, and they were created because we called our 3 friends, Chris, Patricia, and May, and we were like, they're college friends of ours. They're spectacular actors. And we were like, we're going to make a movie and we want you to be in it. What do you want to do, basically? And so Patricia helped us create Lacey LaJoy, who is the professional damsel in distress.
That was hilarious.
That was awesome. Yeah.
That's
And
so funny,
it was
man.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's
I
so
mean,
good.
and filled in a spot of the comic book world that we were like desperately missing.
Is she
And then-
supposed to be like one of those like anti-feminist women? That's the kind of also the vibe I got. That's what that character would be, you know?
She is totally like she has like how do I wrap it up in a nutshell? She is a professional damsel in distress. She is like Lois Lane. And we were just trying to like jab at the idea that like she has a PhD. She's like crazy qualified, and all she's asked to do is run in heels
Right.
and get kidnapped.
Right.
And that's like her joy and her passion. So yeah, she's playing one of the characters that set the entire like women's rights movement back 100 years every time they're portrayed on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
then
just like getting into bars for free. I just love it.
May
I don't
jumping
have
in
to make as
play-
much money as men because I get into bars for free.
Oh my God, and then kidnapped.
I dated a girl. Sorry to derail this a little bit, but I dated a girl for one time. Went on one date and she said that shit, and I was like, I'm done. I can't deal with this.
No,
An interesting thing to lead with on a first
We
date.
got there somehow on the first date.
Very weird thing to start with.
Yeah. I was just like, I can't. You're too stupid. I can't deal with this.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, the fact that she came in and helped us make that was like, I don't know, pretty amazing. And then May coming with her doing Chrono Cop was awesome. And then Chris slipped into a character we had written out, a politician who was the state congressperson, but he came with like 30 ad libs ready to go, like a whole fleshed out character. That it was his idea to try to kiss everybody. It was just, he was so funny. So I think that I have a special place in my heart for those 3 characters for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick, it would be down to 2. And one of them is Key Lime Lamper.
Yeah.
And it's for that, the line he has about, I gotta get an agent.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite little things in the movie. And I truly love Jessica, who was the sorority sister ride.
Oh, God, me too.
She just, every time it cuts to her face is so funny. Katrina was so great in that part.
No.
What about the
Katrina...
whitewash kung fu sisters or whatever?
Oh yeah,
What were
that's
their
my.
names?
Yes, also they are brilliant as well.
Yeah, that's the immortal Mr. Yin and his Iron Yang, right? And that's
Yes.
oh my God, that's my wife, and then Zach, who plays Jan's wife, Sarah Jada, and my wife Carolyn Sharpie. They're so funny in those parts. It's amazing. And then I mean, I think honestly, like Lady Marv and Hercules steal the show. So our goal was going out to make that fully fleshed out sort of group of people, and I don't know, it's hard. That's why I love the question, because it's like the easy answer is definitely not Dale, Carl, or Jan. My favorite character is definitely not the main characters. I'm like a big Simpsons guy, and I love the townspeople. They're always the best.
Right.
Yeah. In some ways, sometimes from a writing perspective, it's almost easier to flesh out or have these colorful side characters and sort of have them steal the show sort of thing on that. So I can definitely
100%.
No throwaway characters. Like everybody in a Coen Brothers movie is memorable, pretty much. For the most part, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal, right? That's what you want to do, especially. And then if you're in a mockumentary, I feel like an actor in a mockumentary who has like sort of a supporting character, or smaller role on the side there, they're like licking their chops because they know like there's so much they can do that can end up making the movie and changing the movie. So a lot of what these guys do is ad-libbed or improvised, and we're just rolling on them.
So people pretty much got what you're going for when you explain it to them, like all the actors and everybody. Or did it take some doing?
I mean, I think the script was pretty strong by the time we had it ready to go. It took a long time for us to get the script there, and Matt worked really hard on it, did a really good job, and we wrote for a while. And then, I mean, I think, Marvel movies have become so large that like we were basically like, imagine Marvel movies are real. These are the loser heroes trying to get famous. And all of our independent filmmaking friends were like, yep, got it.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like X-Men. There's always a few people that evolved with shitty powers.
Yes.
One of the other, since we were also talking about the different characters, I think in the very beginning, I was just like, holy shit, they got like a flying sequence already on that. Just so we had to ask about like the effects in terms of like who did them, what was the process in that? Because I imagine that took a while just to perfect once you got into post.
Adam Harem, the true hero of this movie.
The MVP.
And he is the flying man as well, appropriately.
Okay.
So he built all those effects, and we were like, you're also going to be the first thing we see in the movie, because he, in so many ways, his shots really carry the movie, along with our DP Brad, who did a great job, but he came to set, and he lives in Washington, Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
And, his creative partner Clancy, they run Kinetic Productions, and we co-produced it with them, and they stepped up to the plate huge. They're just like, isn't a movie without these guys giving an unreal amount of time and all of these crazy moments to the movie.
Technical question, was it After Effects only or what?
That's a good question. I think it was After Effects only. Allie, is that right?
Yeah.
Pretty much,
Okay, cool.
I think so. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me in the least if they're not pulling stuff into Photoshop, pulling stuff into other programs, and then giving us After Effects files when it's all baked. But we did the whole thing in Premiere and pulled in from After Effects for that. Yeah.
They also built the credit sequence at the end.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Which is also their amazing work.
Yeah, we were lucky to have them for sure. I just don't think we called them. We did a Kickstarter campaign, and we wanted to just like snap our fingers at one point and have a little flame appear. So we called them, and we were like, "Hey, can you do that for us really quick?" And they were like, "Yeah, sure." And then we were like, "One more thing."
A few thousand more things.
Yeah, few thousand more
Basically.
shots. Oh God, I don't. Sort of like it all becomes a haze. I mean, we were in post for 2 years on this movie because it's a smaller budget independent movie. We're all trying to like make it while we're all working in our jobs and all that stuff. And my God, the grind I think it was for Adam building a lot of these shots. It's just that they do so much to make it feel real. So it's pretty fun.
Nice. Andrew, I'm going to throw in one more question.
Yeah.
That we didn't have on here. But one thing that struck me, too, that I have to ask about is the music also is parodying a lot of different superhero stuff. I recognize not just... The most obvious one is Holding Out for a Hero, but the end credits is definitely a spoof on the Nickelback Hero song from Spider-Man. So I have to ask, okay, how did that come together? Were those also... people who were part of the movie, or other people you reach out to being this like, hey, we want you to do a Nickelback spoof? Like,
I love Nickelback. Fucking great band.
Easy there, Bruce.
You know they're from Canada.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do, Master Bruce. It's okay. You tell me this every day.
I kind of
I'm
like
real tired
Canada,
of
you
your
know.
shit.
Oh my god. I mean, that what you guys just did there is like sums it up. It started really, I think, with Dale's line in the movie that is, like Nickelback went platinum 5 times or whatever, and they should have. Those are great albums, and we like sort of we just were inspired by that, and we were like, well, now we need a Nickelback song at the climax of the movie, but we can't afford the Nickelback song.
Right.
So we called Adam Blotner, who wrote all of those songs, and we met him through a friend. My friend was like, he's a musician. I was like, can you do this job? And he was like, I can't, but I just went to this wedding where this couple sang at their own wedding these kinds of songs. So they're perfect. And Jenny sang I Need a Man in a Costume, his wife, and she's so funny and good too. It was just amazing. I met them at a bar, told them the idea. A lot of this movie was like assembling the Avengers. It was literally like meeting up with people and being like, okay, this is, or like, that Ocean's 11 scene, just going around, Allie included, she will never forget the day. I'm sure that it just, you need a team to pull off something like this. So yeah,
I asked Jim to grab a coffee, and before I knew it, was signed on to produce a film. Not the intention, but I'm very glad it happened.
Yeah, speaking of X-Men who have lame but useful superpowers, that's probably mine. Is the coffee where I get a super talented person to agree
Producer
with.
powers.
Yes, exactly.
Very important. Nice. This is also off script, Ben. For Allie, since you're coming into superhero world just recently, what's like the most surprising thing? I just kind of imagine like you're probably like, this is way deeper than I was expecting. Like the rabbit hole is so deep, or like what is from before you started all this to now, what do you think has surprised you the most in your own tutelage?
I think, to be totally honest, I think enjoying the genre so much is a surprise. Not because I didn't watch some Marvel movies before, but I wouldn't say that I was the person who bought a ticket to every one that was popping up in the theater.
You weren't the demographic entirely.
I was not. And this was, at the time, one of the first films that I had worked on, period. So Jim was very much throwing me into the deep end of the pool and gave me a lot of trust in general. So I was both learning a lot more about film and a lot more about superhero stuff. So I came in with the intention of learning more about film and listening to everybody riff on each other. That's kind of started to feel like people were speaking a foreign language very early on in the process.
Yeah.
And I kind of just wanted to speak that language. And then as I started to, got so sucked into it. And now I'm the first person to throw out movies and shows and things to friends of mine who are also very disinterested in the genre, but I'm watch it anyway. You got to do it anyway. And we drove down to North Carolina and I put on the Batman podcast in the car and I was we're going to listen to this for 2 hours. And everyone was what is happening? And I was fine, it's fine. You're going to love it. So I think that was I didn't grow up with the comic books and stuff. And now it's so fun to be getting into it. I feel like a little kid again, kind of jumping back into something I can get really excited about that I didn't think I would get to without this movie.
That's cool.
Awesome.
All right.
I love that. I mean, I think it's such a big, daunting world, right? And that's what's kind of fun about doing an origin story. Origin stories are the best way in for people, I think, to superhero worlds, because I think you enjoy them more if you know everything that's to come, for sure. But you're not asked to. You don't have to. You can kind of come in kind of blank, which is sort of fun for creating a new superhero world or for diving in to these gods and monsters stories, basically, from scratch, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I just to add in here, I loved the title once I realized what it meant, what it was supposed to be, because I was, like, I've read every Batman #0 type of variation on those, and I always thought, like, oh, this is like the origin stuff that people overlook. Like, this is kind of a deep cut type of reference in there, while also sort of the zero, of course, being that these are all a bunch of losers. So the double meaning on both of those, I was just like, oh, this is genius. I love it.
Double
Okay.
entendre.
I love it. I'm so glad. Yeah, that's been satisfying for us, I think, as we talk to people who love comics, to be like, I think it's scary because I think we make a promise with a title like that. It's going to be made by people who love comics as well and love these heroes.
Right.
So my hope is we deliver on that for sure. But yeah, I love that you pick up also on the fact that obviously they're all a bunch of zeros. But the hope is that, you just keep in the back of your mind the whole time, okay, this is somebody's zero issue. I guess it's
Right.
Dale's, like, what's happening to him? What's he turning into? And that's like part of the fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once I saw that definition in the beginning, I was like, okay, these aren't just some random people who are just like, oh, this is a funny comedy idea to throw together. These are like actual fans and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm in as I kept watching it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of credit, I think, to our producer Zach, who came to us with that title. We all love comics, but he's the guy, I think, who's read like everything.
He's the Ben Wan of your group.
Yes, I think he may be. He's the amazing thing about Zach should be hired to produce a Superman movie, because he just understands what makes that character actually interesting in a way I think that the movies never seem to do.
Very interesting
which is like,
about that.
Yes, perhaps.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay.
Whole other tangent. Oh, do we disagree?
No. You're hinting at future, very
future
upcoming
things.
SuperHouse episodes. So.
Oh, hell yeah! You guys should get Zach's
Preview.
soapbox moment. Yeah,
Maybe we should. Maybe you should call.
Yeah, that's what I was
we
gonna
could
say.
we could edit him even if he can't come in.
Yeah, I'll just
edit him
like call him and
screaming
record
into
him.
his phone, and that could be his SuperHouse bumper.
Yeah.
Superhero stuff you should know bumper.
I'll call him and be like, I thought that Superman where he caught the plane was like a pretty good one, and then just like let him go and see what he.
Well, he catches
what
the
he
plane
starts
in the
screaming.
Fleischer cartoons
Yeah,
first
right.
in 1941 or whenever it was.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and he was like, I think we should call this zero issue. And then he was like, and I think we should put the definition like right up in the beginning, and then we were all on board. It just seemed like, perfect choice.
So based on the post-credits scene,
Yes,
the plans
you stuck
for
around.
follow-up. Yes, we did.
Allie, plans to do a follow-up?
I would love to do a follow-up. I think, once you shoot a superhero mockumentary, I don't know that many other films give you quite that same thrill on set. I would love to do another one focused on any of the characters, but that would be awesome. If anyone would like to fund that, listening out there, we'd be happy to take your money and make a follow-up to this film.
We just need a sack of money. Yeah,
Yeah.
We need a sack of money because we did this one with a pretty hefty Kickstarter. We kickstarted about $30,000 for this guy, and that was a big promise that haunted us every day as we were making. That's a lot of people believing in you, and a lot of people you're afraid to let down.
You're all from Albany?
No, so we're all from New York, and then I spent all of my summers about 2 hours north of Albany in upstate New York when I was a kid, and in the town where we shot this movie. And I think we knew we wanted it to be so small town that the big city was Albany. That was like sort of our beacon or our lighthouse for that. I mean. I don't know. That's that, and it's just in it. It's just kind of like made it feel real to us.
Was this like a local sensation while you were filming, or no?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
We got to do it in the off season in that town. So it's a big summer town, but we went up in October and November to shoot.
Okay.
So it was like there was a lot of genuine. There is like a good group of filmmakers up there, passionate people who love watching and making independent films, and so they helped us out and they got us sort of going and a little bit of legitimacy. And then I like everybody who I kind of knew from the town, I just sort of like begged, like, please help us. And so all those locations are free.
That's
and
awesome.
We were housed for free by many, many people, and all of those actors and extras came up just to sort of come for a couple hours and see who are the morons making a movie in Screen Lake kind of thing, and give us a little bit of their time. It was cool. It was really fun.
The funny thing about LA is like no one is excited about you filming anything ever. Like
Right.
before Atlanta's become LA Part 2 at this point, but before I left, is like if I filmed anything there, people were like, "Oh, that sounds amazing. Come on down." But LA, it's like you go to a fucking gas station, they're like, "Here's my deal memo." You know, it's like or something like it's like everybody is just the whole town's so focused on the one thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing in New York. So you take out it's even like you take out your camera minding your own business, and it's like, where's your permit? Where's your to the point when we went up to Screw Lake, we were like, okay, so how do we get the permit to film at the the top of the hill for the lake? We're gonna fly a drone. This is all the stuff we're doing. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just film it. Like they were like, do you have it?
Mean
they were
no
like, do you guys
paperwork?
have a camera? We were like, yeah, we've got cameras. They were like, then I think you have what you need. And we were like, well, what if it's busy?
So much easier.
Why
Yeah, it
are
was
you
amazing.
like talking to me?
It was kind of amazing.
It was.
And we were like,
oh, sorry.
yeah, we were like, what if it's busy? And they were like, it won't be. We were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And especially with like shooting things in New York and bigger cities, just the amount of disruption that there is, like, and remind you, Screen Lake does not have amazing cell service. So we were like fully running through the town in and out of places, trying to find people. And like one of our locations didn't have a bathroom, so you had to go to the gas station. So we were like fully, our presence was known because there was always one running from a location to another location. And the town was just amazing and amazingly patient with like just people in leotards running through the town trying to find one another. Shoot, like they were so great to work with.
What was your total time? Like 2 months? Like how long did the whole full shoot take?
Want to take that, Allie?
I think it was a whopping 6 days.
6 days.
Total.
Wow.
Yeah, which is
That's pretty
so
good.
much more generous than it was. It was really 4 days. It was 4 days at Screw Lake, and then we had 2 very leisurely days in New York that
That's
we
cool.
did in like late December, where we just picked up, like Jan's head lighting on fire for anybody who's, spoiler alert, stayed at the end of the credits, and that kind of stuff. We grabbed it the last weekend, but the first 2 weekends were literally like 20-hour shoot days, and just moving at the speed of light to try to get everything. It was nuts. My friend going into it as another filmmaker was like, just a reminder, it doesn't have to be fun. It'll be fun when it's over. And I was like, all right, awesome, let's go do this. Because it was pretty intense.
What's been the reception overall for the film? Did it show at any film fests before COVID? Anything like that?
No, COVID shut us down before we began. So we were just putting the final touches on it, touring movie theaters. We were going to do like a little backer only premiere in New York, just to be like, hey, we can control that, whether festivals want us or not. Like, we're excited for that. And then, COVID hit, shut us down. And we were like, okay, well, we're putting it up on YouTube, and we're going to reach out to as many people as we can, through fellas like yourself, because we want people to see this movie. That's like the main goal. The people who've seen it seem to love it, and seem to like get what we're trying to do, have a good time, understand that it's there for them to have a good time, and that we tried to make a playground, especially for, I think if you're a comedy nerd or a comic book guy, you're gonna fall into this and enjoy it. And now we're submitting to festivals, being like, Allie's doing a ton of work on that, and we'll have conversations where we're like, I don't know, do you think there will be festivals in 2022? Like, we're sort of like doing the math and trying to figure it out.
Jeez.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a strange time for festival submissions right now.
Yeah, right. They got to change their requirements entirely for that.
Pretty much.
That sucks, man.
I know. But as far as they know, we'll just have to hide that YouTube link, I guess, when most of those submissions go out. But we were just like, we can't sit on this movie anymore. It's time to go.
Just get it out there, man. It's still under your portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on your IMDb, I assume. Is it on
Yes,
there?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're good.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. Well, the timing of this is pretty cool because of the fact that just yesterday, as of this recording, was DC Fandom. So we were curious for a long-term fan like Jim or a new fan like Allie, what news from DC Fandom did you follow or are you most excited about?
Oh, guys, I don't know yet. I'm waiting for you guys to cover it on the podcast so I can digest it. What do we got? You hit me with the highlights, and I'll let you know.
Take it away, Ben.
Well, obviously from the Batman side, there was the announcement of the Gotham Knights video game that's coming from WB Games.
Don't bury the lead.
Oh shit,
Okay,
is that
fine.
PS5?
I don't know, honestly.
Oh, wow.
But,
Okay.
it's
Yeah, it
going
is.
to be. Yeah, it is going to
Wow.
be the Batman family. So like all the Robins and Nightwing and everybody versus what seems to be the Court of Owls, who are a relatively new villain.
shit.
One of Andrew's favorites. In
Hey,
there.
they're
So-
a new. Aren't they a new 52? I'm gonna massacre this. New
Yeah.
52.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, I loved that book. That was great.
Yeah.
That's a good.
That's Andrew's favorite Batman story.
Is it?
It
Not so
might
much.
be. He likes it, but it's not his favorite. But
I like
you've
it, but I'm
you've
just
read
like,
like 20 times more than I have.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
his palate's a little more refined than
Fine,
me.
yes. But let's see. Okay, so on to the bigger news, though, was the trailer for the Pattinson, Matt Reeves reboot of Batman, of The Batman, if you have not checked
Oh
it out.
shit.
Yeah.
I have not. I mean, I've got at any given moment a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old hanging off of me, so I have like a very
Oh.
dad delay echo on some of this
Dad
stuff.
delay.
But,
All right.
I 100% have to see that. That's awesome.
All right,
Are you
well,
guys psyched about that? Are you skeptical? How are you feeling about it?
We're pretty psyched. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I mean, we I'm not going to give away what's in the trailer so much as just say that we liked what we saw. So, like,
Yeah.
Nice.
let's see. And then, of course, Pattinson is not the only cinematic Batman, because not only is Ben Affleck coming back in the Snyder Cut that's releasing on HBO Max, but he's also coming back to the Flash movie with Ezra Miller to be his main Flash before Ezra Miller does his own little time travel thing and winds up in the hands of Michael Keaton, who is back as Batman. So it's going to have two Batmen, Keaton and Affleck, in a Flash movie. Sorry, Flash, but you've been upstaged as far as I'm concerned. Because
It's like the
honestly
Flashpoint animated movie. Like everybody talks about the Batman scene at the end, and people don't even talk about Flash, and it's a fucking Flash movie. He's just like, it's just that powerful, I guess.
Yeah, so basically instead of the Thomas Wayne thing, which I think would be confusing to audiences, they decided, well, what if he just meets an alternate universe Batman, and who better to hit that nostalgia feel and get people in theaters for the Flash's first movie than Keaton himself. So
I mean, it's gonna work on me. I'm pretty basic. I'm pretty psyched. So I'm excited. But I mean, I do have to say though,
Is Keaton wearing a bat suit on a movie screen right now? Count me in.
yeah, like I don't care. Grab my mask and off I go. I'm like ready to do. But I do have to pause a second. So Ben Affleck is playing the Flash in this?
no. Sorry.
Oh,
No, he's.
I thought you
he's
said he was
back.
playing an older version of the Flash,
No,
and I was
he's
like,
back.
oh shit.
No. He's back as Batman to Ezra Miller's Flash, just like in the.
Great.
Justice League
Okay.
movie.
It's
That-
Batfleck. Batfleck's back.
I was trying to wrap my brain around that like college theater department decision of casting that they were venturing into.
I'm
so
not
that's
Batman
good.
anymore. I'm the Flash.
Now I'm the
fastest
Flash.
man. Do you bleed? Well, I run fast.
I love running.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, that's So those major announcements. Obviously, I'll leave you to watch the trailer type stuff on there, but those are the main like Batman related type stuff there.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm basic. So now that I have my updates, I'm excited about
Yeah.
in the nipple suit again, man. Get it out there.
He's not in the nipple. That was Schumacher, man. Come on.
I know. But
That'd
yeah,
be
wait, who
hilarious
was
if they did. Yeah.
If they bring back Kilmer, he needs to
right. Kilmer
wear
was in the
the
nipple suit, right?
He needs to wear the
Clooney,
yeah.
yeah.
Love it. I love it. Yeah. What if they're like so many alternate timelines that they're accidentally in the nipple suit? That would be such a joy and confusing. You know, that's like what happens when you start messing with timelines, man. You can end up in.
Damn it, Barry.
Mess up the stream.
That explains the switch from Batman Returns to Batman Forever is the time
exactly.
travel.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, that's what went wrong. That's like what they're going. It's like an X-Men storyline. They're going back to fix the movies.
Yes.
I don't know. At the time I loved Val Kilmer's foray. So,
we still do.
Yeah.
A lot of love for Forever.
And Jim Carrey as the Joker is like amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Riddler.
Agreed.
The Riddler, yeah.
Hey, Allie, Memory Lane, the whole past 20 minutes, like a walk down Memory Lane, right, Allie?
It truly is. But I am growing in my.
What are you excited about?
But she's more up to date now though than she.
I am more up to date, although my history stuff is all over the place because I'm watching like not from the beginning of when things started to be created up until now. I wound up starting with Umbrella Academy and then like jumping around to 900 other things.
That's fine.
But I think I'm a lot like Jim, which is like I'm still in like the fun phase of like put anything in front of me and I'm going to be really excited about it because a lot of this still feels so new.
Right.
So, I'm pumped for everything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Oh, I got the next one, huh?
Yeah, this is going to be fun for you guys. This next one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
I'm glad I got this one. Okay. What are your most controversial superhero opinions? If you guys dive really deep into our catalog, we used to have this section called Bold Statements where, man, some of it got rough, but this is way back in the day. But do you have any bold statements?
I definitely do.
Oh, well,
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's hear this.
I am not a fan of the Wonder Woman movie that came out, which I know is controversial both to be said and also as a woman saying it.
Explain.
I just felt like this was going to be such a great film in general, and all the actors and stuff were great. It's not a criticism of the filmmaking part of it, but Wonder Woman had so many questions. Almost all of her lines were questions to the point where I felt like she was kind of dumb, and it made it very hard.
The fish out of water thing.
Yeah,
like
she's new to a lot of stuff, but she's not new to like walking around and speaking.
What is this water cup?
It got to a point where I was like, we could have made her like a touch smarter or pick up on things in the world a little sooner for me.
Right.
You might be interested in the sequel because it looks like they're reversing that. Where she has to explain stuff. So
which
that's
I'm
gonna be interesting.
Very excited about because I left being like, I think 95% of her lines were questions, and then she was fighting people.
Well, now Chris Pine gets to know how that feels.
Yeah.
If any of us were in that situation, you fall into play along mode pretty quickly, right? You're like, I assume everything is new and updated, so I'm just gonna play along as much as humanly possible.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, what's my bold statement? I don't know. I'm trying. I'm like pulling one a little bit out of my ass right now. I loved Spider-Man as a kid. I loved to read. That's like the only comic book where I got like issues sent to me for a little bit of time. I mostly am like I read the graphic novel. Like I said, I'm basic.
Yeah.
So
that's nothing wrong with that. That's not basic.
Recent volumes of Spider-Man, of which I have quite a few because my wife is like, Christmas time rolls around, she's like, I'm gonna get you another Spider-Man, which I enjoy. So this comes from a place of love. But oh my god, that like the main storyline is so complicated and convoluted now for me, where like what's his name is his father-in-law and like is married to Aunt Em, and like everybody's dead, but then he's rich now, like Peter Parker's, and I'm just like,
Peter Parker's rich now?
Like he gets a job where he's like making so much money, and I'm just literally like, everybody land the plane. Like it's okay. It's like almost like the way.
Let's go back to a time when Peter Parker's just missing history class.
Yeah,
Or trying to make rent.
Yeah.
I'm sort of like, it's such a shitty thing to say because like, be a bold creator and like change and twist the storyline and stuff, but I'm more into like Miles Morales for that. I'm sort of like let's just like yeah, at some point Peter got kind of old and fat. I like the Into the Spider-Verse approach to that situation, you know. So I think that's maybe my bold statement. That and I just don't think they've done a great Superman movie, which is
that's good. You know, that's a good bold
I love
statement.
Christopher Reeves, but I don't think they've nailed it yet, like ever.
So because this is going to play into future episodes, why do you think the Reeves movies weren't great?
He's the closest. I'll say
Okay.
I think that's the closest. I think it's because I think it's a Clark Kent problem. I don't think it's a Superman problem. Although the Superman problem is a problem, which is like his enemy is a rock and a rich guy. And like,
okay,
I do think we're in a world now where like your enemy being a billionaire could be a ton of fun, you know, but like, but like the problem for me is a Clark Kent problem. He's supposed to be such a loser that you wouldn't recognize him, you know, if he like stepped on your foot. And he's always this like, you know, gorgeous looking man with a pair of glasses on, which I know is such like an obvious thing to point out and shit. But I would almost rather them do sort of a, you know, I get brain farts, so I'm blanking on the actor, but the new Spider-Man in the Marvel movies go in that direct, like go go a Tom Holland direction with a Superman casting kind of thing. Get me somebody nerdy and then give me hero when the suit's on, as opposed to like taking someone who looks like they fell, you know, off the cover of like Men's Health, and then he's like, oh, it's so hard for me to be successful in life, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's fine for you. So
watch. I just rewatched the Reeves movies, the first two recently, and it is a little bit like Lois is just not into him, and it's like he's like a tall dude in a suit, like. You know, and he doesn't look that bad even with the glasses on. That's actually a plus for some women. It's just like, it is kind of unbelievable. It's like, but maybe it's the personality. It's just he's overplaying his weak vibe too much, and she doesn't like that. I don't know. That's exactly. Maybe Allie can comment on that more than us, but.
Yes, Allie. Who's hotter, Clark or Superman?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I've honestly always thought Clark.
Really? Yeah. See,
I've actually given this thought, and that's what I say for myself personally.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the problem. So you have that problem, which is like Clark's a good-looking dude, and he probably should be way nerdier than that. And like Superman himself is really only beaten by a piece of rock, and so like you have like this unbeatable God problem on one hand, and then you don't have the like. Funny, quirky humanity thing in a believable way to balance him on the other hand, and you're kind of left being like, okay, well, I guess I'll get to see some cool sequences. Like that happens, you know, like you get to see him catch a plane and shit, but you're just sort of like waiting for that stuff.
The character was always, I can do all these things, but nobody will know about it.
Exactly.
That type of feeling. Like, we haven't done the deep dive into the radio series, but it was like maybe 100 episodes in where people actually knew Superman even existed. Like everyone just thought in the radio series.
That's amazing.
That he was Clark Kent the entire time, and like people just thought, oh, we lucked out that the train just randomly stopped or something. Some mystical
because he's so fast. He's so fast, right? Yeah.
Everyone he talks to, he doesn't talk to anybody as Superman. Everyone he talks to is as Clark Kent, and he never gets any credit.
There are some golden remnants like that that have been lost. Like, I'm glad you uncovered that
and
stuff.
And then he just goes to Lois, and she just is just like, yeah, whatever, you're my rival reporter and stuff like that. She has no idea that he saved like thousands of lives, and he wants it that way.
See, that to me screams HBO or Netflix or Prime series, where like a series about like Clark Kent's life sucks, like his actual life, but he has this like responsibility and like nobody even knows about it, is like so interesting and like fun and
That's why I was always objected to people saying, which is funny because I'm the Batman guy, but they were just like, oh, Batman's more relatable, and I'm just like, well, sure, Batman might be more relatable than a guy who could fly, but you seriously telling me that Bruce Wayne, billionaire playboy with his big mansion and CEO of several companies, is more relatable than the guy who's got a 9-to-5 day job with a crush on his coworker, and his boss keeps ragging him on the deadline? Like, you're seriously going to tell me that guy's not as relatable? Like,
100%.
Human identity. Yeah, it's the human identity that that causes that. That's what's the interesting dichotomy. You have a character with Superman where you relate to his secret identity, and the whole conceit is he can do all these incredible things, and he could even be a god, but he chooses to be this human.
Well,
And
also
versus
unless he
yeah.
joins the circus as a strongman or something, which maybe he just doesn't give a fuck about.
Right.
You know, he really does have to hide his powers because he
Yeah.
doesn't
Right, exactly.
want to be.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be like God King of the world, at least in most of them. Although there's a lot
Yeah.
of evil Superman lately, which I'm like, here we go
Yeah.
again.
Well, because
but when he's
they
good
feel like
Superman,
they have nowhere to go. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you got him, and then you got Batman, who could, by all intents, just be a rich douche, or just live off of that. But he's grounded by the fact that he chooses to take on humanity's worst on behalf of the rest of humanity, and the fact that he's driven by pain and trauma. And that's what makes us relate to him. Like there's this contrast of the persona or the secret life on both sides being relatable, while the other side is less relatable. They just kind of switched it with Batman and Superman.
Yeah, and I mean that maybe the Snyder Cut will feel like it plays a little bit in some of this world, but that was like the great opportunity of something to look at for Batman versus Superman, that they just were like, nah, let's just have like shit explode and weird one-liners.
The Martha thing, man. It's hard.
Martha!
It's hard to forgive that part. Like there's
We'll do a deep dive on that.
Snyder. Yeah, we're going way off on the tangent there, but
You
man,
too had a mom.
Yeah.
It was like, it was like just, oh man. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know, so there you
Yeah.
go.
It
I agree.
was-
I mean, I think that is what you're describing, Ben, is fascinating. Like that is like, great. Let's watch a movie about that. And that's not in any of, you know, and I kind of get that you can't make a is it 70s or 80s Superman movie like that's that
First
deep
one was
cut?
78.
78. Yeah, 78.
Yeah, so I think audiences are probably more ready now to go on that kind of journey, and back then they were probably just psyched to see like the guy in the blue and red like fly around.
Right.
But yeah, like now that he's just an alien from another planet, like it's cool that they're humanoids. They doesn't have to be the most handsome planet of all time, and like the sun doesn't have to give him abs. Like he can just have powers, like, you know. So yeah, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it'd be very interesting for casting the next Superman.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'm sure they'll call me.
Cavill loses the job, dude.
Yes, yeah, he's already the Witcher. Moving on into, I guess, other projects. What do you guys mainly do outside of, you know, when you're not making your own mockumentaries, or what other type of projects are you tackling or currently tackling?
Allie writes about 800 things a day, so she's like the most prolific independent artist that I know. So I'll let her take this first.
Thank you. That's a lovely compliment. I am right now, I'm very lucky. I have a lot of artistic projects going on. I was one of the very lucky people through COVID where everything that needed to happen in person for me sort of wrapped right as the world decided to go inside. So I have 2 other short films in post right now, which I'm very excited about. One I wrote and produced, and one I just produced. And then I have a crazy sort of hybrid musical that Jim just got to watch the first act of, read aloud on Zoom, which is a horror movie that's inside of a musical that's inside of a play.
Whoa.
Crazy situation called Blood, Sweat, Tears, which I'm very excited about, and then have had a couple of other full-length plays that I've been working on through this situation, and then a few other just random like daily things to crank out, just weird shorts and songs and stuff. But it's been good.
Allie can be summed up by, she wrote a movie. One of the movies she produced, she wrote at night after one of our 20-hour shoot days, the weekend, our first weekend of shooting. I'm not fucking kidding.
Yeah, that's very.
You just had to
that
get
is
it out
true.
onto the page?
I just had to get it out. I figured, what is the point of sleeping for 3 hours?
What's the
You
point
know,
of it?
Let's just work our way through the weekend.
Coffee?
But yeah,
Lots of coffee then.
lots of coffee, lots of willpower, and just love. Like, I think when you're on a good set and you are excited about the project, it's so easy to get excited about everything else. And Zero Issue just happened to be one of those moments for me. So it was pretty good.
Oh man, I don't even want to say what I'm doing now because that's such a lovely note to end on. But I have. Yeah.
Sure, you wanted Allie to go first?
Yeah.
You got to follow up now.
I'll just like help work on one of Allie's projects. That'll be good for me. No, I have I'm lucky that I worked a long time to get into a day job that was the kind of job I wanted. So I have a great job at Comedy Central, and there's a lot of change happening there right now, which is kind of crazy and fun. As
more cartoons.
More cartoons, baby. But I'm on the digital team, so we're sort of like allowed to go rogue, and we're not. We're feeling out what that's going to mean next for us, and that's kind of fun. But I get to write and direct and produce with those guys, and that's like a joy to do. And mostly we make like videos that are really fun for people who are sitting on the toilet. But it's a good time had by all. And then I'm just starting something about the process of talking to like comic book fans on a couple of podcasts and like watching people respond nicely to the movie. I'm just starting to get that itch a little bit. We're like, okay, what do I want to make next? Since like it was a long grind of a process to make this movie, and a very rewarding one, but one where I'm like, now just starting to be like, oh yeah, what kind of story, what kind of role, that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about what might come next, but it's open.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Cryptic.
Anything that you guys want to plug in terms of outside of obviously look up Zero Issue on YouTube, but any other social media, YouTube page, official websites, any of those?
Oh yeah, we do have some of those. So we're at Zero Issue Movie on Twitter, very upstart Twitter handle, just a good place to see the trailer if you want. It's like a great way, actually, honestly, to get our attention. If you're listening to this, you watch it, you like it, and you want to say something to us, that's a great way. The Facebook page is the same. New York Picture Company is the Facebook page. And then, honestly, really, I just want to plug the movie. I just want people to go check it out. If you've put in the time to listen to this podcast, the movie's half that time, I would think, right? So
movie's 35 minutes, right?
Yeah.
35 minutes, everybody. You have
the
time.
You can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. We're all stuck inside. So, it's like, watch it. Maybe leave us a nice comment. That would be dope. And hopefully you guys like it, because we loved making it for everybody. So hopefully there's some quick laughs and
Allie's been writing the sequel while doing this podcast, so
Yes.
She probably has.
Yeah.
I have thoughts. And I'll share with Jim later.
Oh man, and she's has the info now too, so
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
more than before. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, I guess that's it then, right, Ben?
Yeah, that's pretty much it for us.
Thanks for joining us, dudes and dudette.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. What a pleasure. Thank you for having us. Thank you for watching the movie. It's very awesome. It's very fun for us.
Yeah,
Thanks for
thank you, guys.
discovering us. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we'll be listening.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Sweet.
All right. Take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.
Awesome.
All right, everybody, that was Allie Keller, the producer, and Jim Fagan, the director of the movie Zero Issue. It is a superhero mockumentary that's only 35 minutes, completely on YouTube, so please go check it out. As you can see from the interview, they are fucking awesome, and it was great talking to them, and actually I really did enjoy talking about, especially the bold statements part. Obviously, that's controversy is good. Keeps people listening and stuff like that. So I thought that was cool. And thanks for setting that up, Ben, once again. And yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's see. This is not necessarily a corrections department thing, but there was a user named Holy Duck on YouTube that I want to do a shout out to, who left a comment about adding to our Batman lifestyle episode, which Allie and Jim also were talking about earlier in this episode. Holy Duck said, quote, "I love these kinds of episodes. I reckon you guys should discuss Beware the Batman in a future episode too. The animation is a little weird and the storytelling can be but there's some pretty cool things in it and some pretty nice insights in his lifestyle. In the show, he basically solely drinks his meals and does some training with Alfred. A young Bruce Wayne can also be seen reading Triumph and Tragedy, which is by Winston Churchill." So that's another addition into the diet, lifestyle, workout type stuff, as well as Bruce's library.
Liquid,
Thank you,
so
Holy Duck.
liquid meals, like there's a company called Soylent. Yes, they took that name.
Yes.
And have you heard about
It's
this?
people. Yeah.
Have you heard about
Yeah, no, I know about
the Soylent? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So it's like stuff like that,
It seems like it, except made by Alfred.
made by for sure. Okay.
Yeah. So.
That's interesting. I haven't really thought about that. I thought he just ate steak and drank tea.
Well,
you know,
the
any
comic
other
book
thing.
version, but
Yeah.
their version is, it's their. I guess they're trying to overcompensate for the Batman in 2004 who ate nachos.
Right.
So I think that's what they were trying to be like. Oh, let's not be like that. But
Beware the
yeah, I'll have
Batman.
to-
People often forget that it came out. That's the one with Professor Pig as the first villain.
Professor
in the
Pig is the
episode?
first one.
I saw the
Also,
first 2 episodes. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is also Batman is voiced by Anthony. I'm gonna butcher his last name, Anthony Rouvier. But I believe he is the first, or maybe one of the only, Asian actors to voice Batman.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
Part Asian at least.
Yeah.
So that was cool when Bruce kind of has that look, and they sort of incorporate the, the black turtleneck type classic look that Keaton, Kilmer, and everybody have had. So it's
Ben,
an
do you have a
underrated show.
black turtleneck?
Yeah, I'll wear it at some point. I'll wear it during the winter when we shoot, just for that. Maybe I'll put
We
on
need
the
to all
glasses,
have
too.
black turtlenecks. That's going to be our podcast uniform. Like, are you Steve Jobs? No, even better.
Even better, yeah. It is weird because he's also in glasses and a turtleneck and jeans in '89. So I'm like, what came first? Did Jobs wear that, and then they're just like, yeah, that's a good look for Bruce Wayne? Or even more funny was that Michael Keaton wore that in '89, and Steve Jobs was like, I really like Batman.
I think.
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like that's a 90s Steve Jobs look, but I could be wrong. Because he was always wearing, like, acid-wash jeans, I think.
Right, I don't remember him wearing that in the '80s. Not like I was around to have been watching Apple conferences or things like that. But in which case that might mean he took it from Keaton's. Like, who knows?
By the way, you're from
we'll
LA, LA area, right, Ben? So
Orange County, yeah.
Orange County, but
Yeah.
like in Alabama and Georgia growing up, they was like, what the fuck is Apple? Nobody even knew. No one had Apple. It was all, especially in the 90s. It was just Windows, nothing else. I didn't
I was one
even
of the
touch
few
one.
kids. I was one of the few kids that had a Macintosh computer.
Oh, so it was rare even in this area.
It was rare at that point, and then people were just like, sure, it's all about PC, it's all about Windows, and then like suddenly Apple became like launched the iMac and the iPhone and all that type of stuff, and suddenly I'm just like, I guess who's laughing now? Except now I'm on PC, so it all comes on full circle. So
Well, having a Windows machine in LA is like a choice. Like people really like. I don't know. It's not the default. Like you went out of your way for PC, I think, in LA. But anyway, that's another whole other topic. Any other shout-outs? What we got?
Sure. Thank you to Liam O, who we're going to add into our rotation shout-outs because he is one of our patrons on Patreon. Again, Holy Duck, who left that message on YouTube on our Batman Lifestyle episode. The Blur93, who comments on our Instagram stuff, as well as a fan who I've been talking to, Joshua Mahoney, who seems to know a lot about martial arts stuff, and had we had a good talk about the Batman training episode that we did earlier this year. So those are my custom shoutouts for this episode.
Nice. And then, as always, like to thank Kuki Noms, Matt Herring, Elijah B, Shamrock Balls. I know you already said it, but Aaron Willett, Ian H, Dan D. And also, please join the Shasta Army. That's the $1 tier on patreon.com/superherostuffpod. And the most importantly is the $5 tier, in which you get bonus episodes. And this week is an awesome one because it's all about that fandom. So check that out. And please leave us a review in iTunes. And also take out your phone, record us a bumper, and send that to SuperHousePodcast@gmail.com. And you too can be on the show. And I am Thunderwolf Drew on Twitter and Instagram. Please check us out on YouTube if you aren't already. We started to add our beautiful faces to to this. I hope it doesn't ruin it. So
Hopefully not. Yeah, and you can follow us on Instagram on Superhero Stuff Pod on Instagram, and you can follow me if you want on Ben One Writer.
Sounds great. This is Andrew signing off.
This is Ben signing off.